I've always been interested in the role of landscape anyway, just as a wonderful thing to do because it's very complementary to buildings and so on. And when I was just out of college as a student, one of the first projects I ever worked on had a massive garden on the roof, and it was just a pleasure to work on. And I thought, there's nothing new about historical built landscapes. It's happened throughout history. So I thought it was a very nice cue to start pursuing landscape as part of a piece of architecture, really.
The process is sitting down with the main contractor on Mint Hotel, for example, with Lang & Rourke and the architects, Bennett's architects, to see what their desire was, what their concept is, and what the longevity of the wall is to be. So with the three professionals sitting together, the development of the design, we make sure we get the right roof for the client. And it really is a mixture of visual aspects also, but also entwined with biodiversity. What makes it so special is the ease of installation. It's a very simple system. The planting of the modules of off-site at the nursery, that gives it time to establish within the module. So from day one, 100% cover, and it's fully rooted. So we are going 35 metres up. There's no issues at all with installation. It's a soil-based system, which is something we believe far greater than hydroponic systems. We think there's more longevity, and it's much better for the plants. And the range of biodiversity within the modules that we can design for the north aspect, south, west, east. With Mint Hotel, we've got some 180,000 plants within the actual modules, and a fantastic displays on the south of thrift and armeria and red campions, whereas the north wall will have more sort of shade-loving species, such as you can see behind me, which are the ferns and the heucheras and the pachysandras. So unique, we can put any planting scheme to suit any aspects of a building.
The first one was probably about 1994 when we did a screen on a building outside Heathrow Airport. It was a visitor centre, and if you were to go along the Bath Road, there's a very long wall with a grillage all the way along the site, 150 yards long or something like that. We did another one in a project called New Street Square, designed about 6 or 7 years ago now, which is on the small building in the square. There's a little management suite, and this is the third major one we've done.
Like all projects and the large roof installations to the walls, there's always logistic issues, there's loading issues. We have our engineer at hand to make sure all the weights and the loadings collate with the main contractor. But it's a simple process, but it's just planning really, and anything's really possible where you have cranes or you have hoists to get materials onto the roof, but it's never really an issue with this. It's
a very close working relationship. We went out to see things as mock-ups and samples all over the place, saw the things in the nursery grown for at least a year, I think it was, before it was actually installed on the building, and then watched it coming in. So a very close relationship, and it's worked very well. Design is not desperately difficult if you get the right advice. It's not hugely expensive either, which makes it an achievable target.
Once we've got the design of the planting modules laid out, back at the nursery, each module will be numbered, and a design specifically to each module will be numbered and designed specifically. And over, depending on time of the year, but because we did this one in November, it took a little bit longer to get the plants established. So by March, April, the plants were available the modules were ready to mount into the project. Very simple system. Once the mounting strips are mounted onto the building, it's a very quick system to put the modules onto the actual building. This is a key addition to the walls and also to the living roofs. These are produced by John Little from the Green Roof Company, and this is what they specialise in, and we're looking to introduce these systems. It'd be the solitary bees, like the bumble bees, the leaf cutter bees, masonry bees, and they actually come into the holes of the actual timber.
The biggest issues are things like convincing clients that it's going to work in the long term, how much maintenance it's going to be, who comes back and replants it if there's a problem, or is it actually going to last for longer than just a year. And we know of a couple of green walls which haven't lasted very long, so we've got to be extremely careful about that, and we've learned a lot in the last few years about how to do it better. So the main challenge, I think, is not so much cost or implementation, it's maintenance and who does it.
The system is irrigated automatically by an automatic irrigation system, which also has a liquid feed, which we can adjust that to suit the time of the year, but also adjust it for the north aspects to the south, because the north would require less water than the south would. But in terms of pruning, with new species which don't grow too large, so it's making sure we're not pruning on a regular basis. We may give it a prune after 2 years, and then every other year after that just get a bit of a haircut, just keep it trimmed and looking well, really.
Well, it's pretty striking, I have to say. When you come in the lobby, we've got a very transparent glass roof, and your eyes naturally draw upwards, and you start thinking, my God, it's a 10-story high wall of greenery. I mean, it's very, very obvious. And daylight, if it catches the light, nighttime it's lit a little bit. So I think people come in and immediately have a rather different perception of the building than they might otherwise have, and people start admiring it, asking about the plants. They can see it change with the seasons and so on. So it has a terrific effect on the building. I wish we could have done more of it, but obviously there was only one wall that was available of that height.
Everywhere people look now, they see green walls, so people are talking about it. Cultures are changing, you know, and you get schemes like we've done with Mint Hotels. We've got a combination of the green wall, and we have the living roofs as well. And we also have B walls in this building, so it's quite an eco-friendly building, and this is something we try to replicate on other projects.